You guys, thank you for coming out. What a great night. I do want to let you know that about a half hour ago I was able to talk to Commissioner Putnam, and he offered his support going forward, and I just want to commend him for working very hard. I don't believe that any other candidate in the country had to run against a tougher opponent in a primary than Adam Putnam, and I think he was as strong as a candidate as there. So our victory is a good victory anyways, but man, to beat someone of his caliber is a big deal. I know you guys were a big part of that, but let's just thank him for his service to Florida. And he's a young guy. He's going to do more going forward. I want to thank all the volunteers, all the people who were out there banging on the doors, showing up at our events. We had some great surrogates. Matt Gaetz was out on the road with us, raising a little hell now and then. We had people like Sean Hannity come down, and Mark Levin, which is just phenomenal. I was endorsed pretty early on when no one said I had a chance by the incoming Speaker of the State House, Jose Oliva, and he's a great guy, going to do great things. Endorsed by the sitting Congresswoman from Puerto Rico, my friend Jennifer Gonzalez. So we were able to really get a lot of great people on board, and I think that victory is a testament. I was just a messenger, but you guys really provided the muscle and the know-how to get this done. So thank you, everybody who supported us. Thank you so much. Now, it may not surprise some of you when in Washington, I'm out there fighting for term limits. I'm fighting for things like when Congress has this slush fund for sexual harassment settlements, I blow the whistle on that stuff. So I'm not always the most popular guy in D.C., but I did have support from someone in Washington. If you walk down Pennsylvania Avenue, he lives in the White House with the pillars in front of it. And I was able to talk to the president. I want to thank him for his support. I want to thank him for entrusting me with viewing me as somebody who could be a great leader for Florida. So thank you, Mr. President. And let's look what's going on. We have 4.1% GDP growth. We got 20-year low in unemployment. We have Gorsuch on the U.S. Supreme Court. And we're going to add Brett Kavanaugh next. The Iran deal is dead. Our embassy in Israel is now in Jerusalem, where it belongs. We have our hostages back from North Korea. Our taxes have been cut, and the red tape has been reduced. I'd say that's pretty good work for a year and a half. So let's keep it going. But my number one supporter is standing right next to me. My wife, Casey. She's my best friend. She's a phenomenal wife, a great mother. We just happened to meet, both happened to just be hitting golf balls one day at the driving range. I was in the Navy. She was a reporter, and just started talking, and kind of the rest is history. But I can tell you, I would not be standing here on this stage today were it not for the support of my wife, Casey. It's a great country, a great state. I mean, the fact that I'm sitting here is really a 1 in a million shot. It's a testament to the opportunities that are provided in our country and in our great state. When I grew up in Dunedin over in Pinellas County, and just a little speck on the map, nothing special. I'm a blue-collar kid, but I remember early on, my Little League team, we had the gall to say that we were going to go to the Little League World Series on the first day of practice, and no one would have thought we could do it. We worked hard, and by golly, we did it. So that taught me early on, if you dream big and swing away, good things can happen. I was also a kid who worked minimum wage jobs to put myself through college. I remember working for an electrician. I remember moving furniture. I remember doing all these things, but I learned that there's honor in a hard day's work. And although I wasn't making a lot of money, I was earning that paycheck, and that meant an awful lot to me and really helped shape my work ethic. I was able to go work myself through some pretty good schools. I had a lot of options, but I'm proud that I decided to serve in the United States Navy. And I'm also proud to have served in Iraq alongside some of our country's greatest warriors. There's something special about wearing the cloth of our country that makes one appreciate it all that much more. And so here we are in Florida. When I left the military, there was no doubt that this is the place I wanted to be, the state of my birth, the state where I was born, where I was raised, because I knew it was a state that presented a lot of opportunity. And we have a great state. Now, it's sometimes a quirky state. Anytime there's a quirky headline in the media, oftentimes that has a connection to Florida with some of the oddball things that go on. But that's part of the charm of going around a state where you have people that have been here, some for generations and generations, and have seen all kinds of changes happen in our state. You have people who fled communist tyrannies and settled and helped build cities like Miami. We have people who are serving in our military at some of our great military bases. Also, veterans is one of the best stops for people to come after they've served. If you want to go to Southwest Florida, you can see what the Midwest is like. You want to go to Southeast Florida, you can see the Northeast. You want to go to Northwest Florida, you get a little taste of the Deep South. So it's a great, unique state, and I think that as the next governor, I want to keep it a great state. I want to build off some of the success that we've had. I was able to talk to Governor Rick Scott tonight, and I want to thank him for his leadership, leading our state, focusing like no other governor has on jobs, jobs, jobs. And because of Rick's leadership, we now have an unemployment rate that's under 4%. So thank you, Governor Scott. We have to build off the good work that he's done. My goal as governor is to attract a wider variety of industries with high-paying jobs, so people who are born and raised here and go to college, they can end up staying here and working. They don't even have to leave the state to have a great job. We can do that if we take advantage of what works: low taxes, reasonable regulation, reasonable litigation climate. If you go the directions that the Democrats want to do, where they'll tax and spend and regulate and impose bureaucracy, we're going to fritter away a historic opportunity. So I am committed to making Florida the #1 place for economic opportunity in our country. We can get it done. You know, I drew a little fire in the primary. Some people spent an awful lot of money against me, and part of the reason that happened was because I was one of the few candidates that was willing to come up and say that the water quality and the environment in Florida is integral to our way of life here. It's the backbone of our economy, and we got to do everything we can to stop some of the problems that we've seen plaguing our Southwest coast and our Treasure Coast, and I am committed to doing that. We will have clean water, we will have nice coastline, and that will allow our economy to flourish even more. Thank you. We'll work very hard to provide a great education for everybody here in Florida. That means getting rid of things that haven't worked, like Common Core. It means recognizing that a 4-year brick and ivy education, while good for some people, is not the only pathway to success, and it's not even the best way for certain people. I want to get vocational and technical and career training back into our high schools in a very big way. I want to make sure that parents, regardless of circumstances, have opportunities to give their kid a good education. And when the Democrats try to take away things like our tax credit scholarship program that benefits some of the poorest families in Florida, I will not let that stand. I will stand for those families and that opportunity. And we also have to understand that our education system, we need to be focusing on preparing people for citizenship. And that means getting the Constitution in the classroom in a big way, focusing on American civics, teaching people what it means to be an American, why people stormed the beaches of Normandy, why they were willing to fight in Iwo Jima. Reagan said freedom's only one generation away from extinction. It's not passed along in the bloodstream. It needs to be cultivated from generation to generation. I'll make civics a focus again in our schools, and we will have students who graduate. Wouldn't it be nice if they could pass the same citizenship exam that our naturalized immigrants have to pass? We'll stand for the rule of law and for workers here in the state of Florida by doing things like enacting E-Verify. This will make sure it will discourage illegal immigration, it will restore the rule of law, and it will lead to rising wages for our blue-collar workers who haven't had a raise in a long time. Also make sure that there are no sanctuary cities in the state of Florida. We've got to keep the community safe, and I'm committed as governor to doing that. We also have to make sure that we don't have judicial activism in Florida. We need judges who understand that the proper role of a court is to apply the law and Constitution as it's written, not to rewrite it, not to legislate from the bench. And as governor, I'm committed to appointing solid constitutionalists to our courts, and we will end judicial activism in the state of Florida. So at the end of the day, what you need to do to be able to realize this vision is exercise leadership. You know, not every people, in fact, most people who get elected to public office are not leaders. Most of them are politicians. A leader is somebody who's willing to do what's right even when it's not easy, even when it's politically difficult. And if you look at my track record from athletics to the military, to fighting to drain the swamp in Washington, I've been willing to take the tough stands, the principled positions, even when it was detrimental to me politically. I had more money spent negative on me than all the other candidates in the race combined and governor on both sides of the aisle, but that's fine. I'm willing to stand up because I know standing up for the people of Florida is the right thing to do. So I believe there's no limit to what we can accomplish here as long as you have the courage to lead. And I pledge to you, as governor, I will work my butt off to accomplish great things for this state. I will show the courage to lead, and we'll keep Florida great, and we'll make it even greater. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.